right, just hit the go live button already. This is spontaneous live. What is today? Thursday, 2:04 p.m. I usually go live at night and start falling asleep halfway through, but it's so freezing cold outside and windy and just terrible. I'm just sitting here trying to stay warm, but yeah, I thought I'd just go live, talk about a couple things that were on my mind, or just that I was thinking of. I thought I'd just put them on video before I forget them, because shit just keeps coming at you. Weird stuff on this YouTube and Facebook and everywhere, and it gets me all pissed off. And then I don't talk about it, and then another stupid ass thing comes on and gets me pissed off and annoyed. So I'll just talk about a couple of those things. Nobody asked. There was no announcement of this going live, so we'll see if anybody shows up. Really quickly, I do have a couple of videos I want to look at and talk about the stupidity of them. But the first thing was just a thought. Let me get comfortable here. Robin Underwood will be speaking at our club, I think January. Something about organic beekeeping again. I don't know why she keeps talking about this for the past couple of years, but the first thing I wanted to point out early was how just stupid the idea of I gotta quote organic beekeeping is, and why I think that. And I said it in a post on Facebook. Somebody mentioned that her and some other scientists are talking about what are the things that keep people from doing organic beekeeping. It's so dumb. I don't know, but there's almost no difference between what they call organic beekeeping and whatever the alternative is, whatever the bad alternative is. So-called organic beekeeping does not produce an organic product, at least not capital O organic. It doesn't mean not having chemicals in your hive, in your stuff. You can still pretty much use almost anything is considered organic. It's just the bar is so low. The most important thing, in my opinion, a lot of people think that doing organic style beekeeping is just like a stepping stone to treatment-free beekeeping, and it's not. It's nothing. Yeah, there's either treating or there's not treating. Organic beekeeping, it doesn't really make sense. There's no as all these stupid ass beekeepers on YouTube and Facebook, they just love to cry about someone labeling their honey organic because there's no recognized criteria or certification for so-called organic honey in the United States. But the thing is, organic, using so-called non-chemical treatments, which oxalic acid, thymol, all these highly caustic, toxic acids and things you put in, they're still treatments. They don't select the bees for any type of survival. It's just a big stupid joke. Anybody who tries to talk about how they do organic beekeeping and they think they did something commendable, they didn't. They're just renaming something. Pretty much everybody's an organic beekeeper by these organic standards. It's a dumb attempt at trying to separate yourself from commercial beekeepers. I think most commercial beekeepers probably qualify as organic. The rules are really weird. There's just a couple weird ethical rules they say about how even the organic rules kind of break down, because when the so-called chemical-free treatments like brood breaks or essential oils and stuff, when that doesn't work under the organic rules that they have, you can basically do anything you have to keep your livestock alive. So I said all that to say organic beekeeping means nothing. It results in nothing special. It's stupid. And anybody trying to promote it and just preaching about it is just don't take them seriously. There's only treating and there's not treating. That's all there is. There's no middle area. There's no like your definition of treating. There's treating and then there's not. And I'm not saying I'm better than other people. I mean, I'm not saying it, but I don't treat, so there's no confusion. Nothing that I do is considered a treatment. And there's hundreds of thousands of people who also do that. But to summarize, organic and beekeeping really don't mean anything. They mean nothing. And you sound dumb when you say it. So, speaking of, I was going to go in another order. Let me just stay in the the order that I was going to go. I saw a video on Bruce's Bees channel a couple days ago. I'm going to share some of it here. Let me see if I do this right. I'm not in a rush. It's going to be a little choppy, but anybody who watches my dumbass videos knows that's how it goes. So let me share this video here. So I feel like I got to say this again. I know Jenny doesn't watch my channel. Probably unless somebody tells them to. Bruce or whoever, don't be so stupid and try to report me for copyright, because it's fair use and you're just going to look dumb wasting your time. But here's a video. I don't even know if I have it queued up right. This video is kind of shocking. Not shocking to me, but not so much what Bruce says in the video, but the comments are they give you a good idea of what I mean when I say treaters just don't get it. They don't get it. They're ignorant. They're not intelligent. They see something right in front of their face and they're just in denial. But quickly, let me just play a minute of this. I think here's where he talks about his treatment regimen.
And so that's exciting. We also have a lot of old boxes kind of sitting around from dead outs and such. I'll have to get those cleaned up, but that's not anything we're going to worry about today. I want to quickly review my mite strategy for this fall. I treated the bees with 6 rounds of oxalic acid vapor. For the first 3 weeks, we used 4 grams per box.
Now, I mean, he's talking fast, and I'm blocked from Bruce's channel, so I couldn't comment. I couldn't take a clip or anything like that. He's got me blocked, just like all the other fucking cowards on the stream team. But if you didn't hear that, he said 4 grams per box. That's the highest I've heard anybody doing. I mean, that's tied with the highest I've heard anyone doing. And when I've heard of anyone else doing that, it was usually like for 1 round they did that. But here he's talking about 6 rounds. It's just insane to use them. I mean, when I first started beekeeping, I heard of using, first of all, there was a couple years where I'd never even heard of this stuff. But apparently they were using like 1 gram, like for the whole hive. I don't remember them even saying how big the hive had to be. Eventually they kind of, the consensus was that they were using 1 gram per box. And that was in, when would that have been? 2013, 2014. At some point now, they're now using, well, from what Bruce just said, not only 4 grams per box, but 4 grams per box 6 times. And then he also talks about those Viroxan strips. Let me play it a little bit more.
On these double stacked colonies, that was 8 grams. And on the single stacked colonies, it was 4 grams. The last 3 weeks, we did just 4 grams per colony. I had some mite issues after I pulled the Viroxan off back in August, and we finished up the treatments a couple of weeks ago. Let me get my mite wash equipment out.
All right, so there again, I'm gonna pat myself on the back again and tell you that I told you Viroxan wasn't gonna work. The day I heard about it, I think I went live and talked about how Viroxan was not going to work. It was just a baloney idea all the way around. Thousands of people wasted their money on it. They're finding out it doesn't work. Here Bruce used it. His mite levels were, whatever he said, too high. Then he went and hit him with 4 grams per box. Now it sounds like it was 3 weeks, and then 4 grams per double. Still, just goddamn, that's a lot of treating. And then, as you'll see in this video, if you watch further, his counts are still high. Now, somebody like me looks at somebody with some sense and some knowledge of how selection works and any type of elementary school biology experience knows when you have to increase so much to get the same levels, that's resistance, period. And here it sounds like he's increased it so much and is not getting any good results. So if you look at that and you don't think resistance is happening, you're just being ignorant. You're in denial. You can keep doing it, but really people like this, like these guys, the stream team people, should really shut up about treatment-free beekeepers. Should never talk about them, because look at what they're doing. Look at their results. I don't even know what the other 2 knuckleheads are up to. I'll play up another couple seconds and I'll scoot forward.
And we'll see what we have. Here's our equipment for testing for mites.
So yeah, I don't really care about watching all of that. At one point he almost washes the queen, but he doesn't, so good, I guess. I think it's up here further at around 6 something. Let's try 6:15. I don't want to play all this. You can go watch the video on his channel and leave him a nice comment. Hey, what's up? Let's play a little bit more.
And real carefully for the queen. Give them a second to fly around. That's probably about enough bees right there for a good wash. Make sure I don't see the queen in here. So it's kind of a...
So here's another problem, another something that just crosses my mind every time I hear about these people treating and testing and treating and testing. Okay, you got the whole hive, right? You got all the 100,000 bees, 50,000 bees in there. But they don't test that the average population of the bees. They go for the part where they expect all the mites to be, and then they get their sample and they say that's how many are in there. Now, just think about it. You're going to where they are. You can't. It's like saying in your state, you got a big state, and you say that the little city has all the crime in it, because that's where all the people are. That's where all the people are. They're all crowded together, and that's where all the crime happens. And then you say the whole state has crime everywhere. It doesn't. It's only right in that spot, or mostly in that spot. So these whole counts are just ridiculous. The results of all that treating are ridiculous. They didn't help.
A way to double check for the queen, you can look on the frame, and then when you put them in here, you can look and make sure she's not in here. And then you just take them. What I like to do, I got to be careful here because I don't want to.
Yes, I don't want to watch all this.
So a lot of them just.
So he, with all that talking about not watching the queen, he comes very close to watching the queen. I'm going to just slowly scoot it forward here. I'm going to swirl it around. What's this? Okay, let's see.
A minute, then we'll see what the results are. Let's see if we have any mites. Yeah, we do. Oh, yuck. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think. Ugh, don't like to see that. That is not good.
So I mean, you could just stop right there and say, yeah, okay, like it's not working. What's the excuse? What are you gonna make up? What kind of something you could say is just that there's probably a beekeeper like me across the field somewhere that didn't treat their bees, and I guess that's why all those mites are there, right? Because mite bombs in a crowded little yard like that, mite bombs somewhere. That's always a good something you can blame it on, or maybe, yeah, I don't know. Let me just say hi to my buddies here. Hey, what's up? What's going on, Nunya, Texas? Nunya, Texas on the back 20 and 18 Bs. What's up? Just talking shit about just the, what is it? The delusion that treaters are under that somehow they're just gonna somehow reach a state of no varroa mites through ridiculous methods of treating, like these stupid Viroxan strips, which I said were not going to work, through oxalic acid vaporization, which it's clear that they're becoming resistant to. Fuck, it doesn't get any clearer than that. But now they have this other stupid thing coming out. Well, it is out. What's it called? Noroa. Noroa is the new one. They think they're gonna, I don't know what they think they're gonna do, but that's also not going to work. So everybody just they're gonna just bilk all these gullible beekeepers. They're gonna be giving their bees these weird ass treatments that it's gonna be in the honey. They're gonna be feeding it to people. And it's going to end up not working. So there's that. Jake got a bunch of honey. Nice. So, yeah, we could have just stopped there. I mean, I don't really need to watch much more of this video. I don't want to hear anybody talking about content theft or whatever, which it's not going to work. It's never worked. These comments, though, let's look at the comments, because we'll just see how deep this delusion goes. All right, let me just scroll down. I'm only going to look at one or two. I'm going to find the one here. Where is it? Apigard worked well for me. Let's see. Hype this video for Bruce. Wow, crazy mites. Let me see. I'm doing Apigard. Man, I can't see any of the replies. I wonder if it's because where is it? I'm gonna find sorry the mites. So I didn't watch the whole video, so I'm guessing at some point he must talk about switching to formic because that seems to be the plan. Beekeepers are ignorant and dumb enough to think that they can use the same methods that people use on like corn or soybeans where they just rotate the treatment and that's just going to work. That's going to keep the pests that they're trying to control on their toes. But that doesn't work. It doesn't work here for bees because corn or soybeans are not actively coming up with their own ways of fighting things and becoming immune to things. Bees are, will, and can. So let me see for. Oh, this. I have a hive that was over threshold after a series of OAV treatments. So I gave them a dose of Apigard and they absconded. But see, to a treater, that's like perfectly fine. It's cool if you treat them to the point they just fucking leave. But God forbid you select for survival and a few of them die. You know. Let's see. Where the hell is this comment at? Okay, I don't know if I saw this one. Was the Roxanne effective? You said you had mite issues after you pulled Roxanne. How about doing an OA dribble? They just can't. They can't just stop talking about treatments. He says I wasn't impressed with Roxanne. I don't think I'll use it again. Yeah, that would probably not be a good idea. Okay, so someone named Glenn's Natural Honey, somebody with a brain, comes in here and says, I don't understand why I'm not hearing scientists getting nervous about the overuse of OA. If I understood you correctly, you had Varoxan on most of the summer, and then 6 to 8 weeks of OAV, like for real. Basically, constantly selecting for OA resistant mites for half a year. No lies detected there. So this individual says, I'll give OA 5 years or less before it ends up like Apivar. 5 years less. I mean, that's he can speculate. I mean, why even worry about how many years it would take? But that's what he says. So after all that, and after everything's said in this video, Bruce just goes back to the same old thing everybody says. Oxalic is an organic treatment. So I already went over how the total meaninglessness of the word organic in beekeeping. So discard those words. Let's go right to, in my opinion. Let's discard that because no one cares about an opinion. I don't see how mites can be one resistant to it. Maybe he meant to say be. I don't see how they can become resistant to it. Let's see if that's what it is. My understanding is that it basically burns the mites somehow. That's not nobody, people say that, but to this day, no one can demonstrate why the effect of OA on mites. It just, for some reason, makes them fall. But not sure. I just think the Varoxan is not strong enough, and the OAV may have not been as effective because of the brood of the colony. So we're just making up excuses. Just shooting from the hip here. I went and applied Formic Pro to some. We'll see how it works out. So in a nutshell, it's just, my understanding is that it basically, see what I mean? People are just like putting out reasons that don't really make any sense. They're not supported by anything. They're not sure. I'm not sure. I just think this. Dude just explained it to you pretty clearly. So this other person with a brain named Glenn's Natural Honey 4571 says, I worked as a corn breeder for 30 plus years. We were told the same thing about glyphosate. Due to its mode of action, weeds would not be able to develop resistance. I believe the weed count is up to 30 plus. Similar story for BT for corn borers and rootworms. When you apply enough selection pressure, you only need to have one mutation to start a resistant population. If we don't learn from history, we get to repeat it. The big telling point is that it doesn't kill 100% of mites, and that's it. The last sentence is the most important. It doesn't kill 100%. If it killed 100% of what was in there, that would still be really bad. But the more it kills, see, people don't understand, the more that it kills without killing them all, the stronger the ones are that are left behind. But you can't get it. If you really think the Earth is only 6,000 years old, you're never going to understand that, because you think that these bees just got flown off the ark like 2,000 years ago. Somebody said 65% colony loss in the U.S. linked to apivar, and you think it's a good idea? Shaking my head. I don't know who this is. 2 replies. I'm surprised this person didn't get blocked. I got blocked for probably less than that. I've used it with success every year. I mean, as early as last year. It had been my most consistent treatment over the years. Auburn University actually did a study on my bees a year ago. In 2024, I found that overall mites in my bees were not resistant to apivar. I'm not of the belief that it's not an effective treatment. Yeah, I don't know. He's just yapping, not really saying nothing. All right, so I'm missing some conversation over here. Let me see. If I go like that. Oh, okay. I didn't mean to kick that out. Let's see. I'll just get bigger. Where's my thing at? Oh no, I messed it up. All right, let me see. See something here. All right, so like that. So 18 Bees is saying, a honeybee association in Washington State reached out to me recently asking if I'd talk at their meeting about natural beekeeping because their treatment program is not working. I don't know. What are you supposed to tell these people? Like, what can you tell them? They don't listen. They're hard-headed knuckleheads. They don't listen to any damn thing. They just regurgitate everything they watch. They watch commercial beekeepers. They want to be like little quasi faux commercial beekeepers instead of just enjoying themselves and not ruining bees for the future. But that's just my opinion. So let's see. Maybe I can from here. I'm gonna switch over to that utter goofballs channel that I really hate talking about. So you'll be able to see my little search over here on the side, but I'm gonna plug in because I was talking to somebody brought up Randy Oliver, another utter knucklehead. So let me. What the hell is that? Nitwit channels. Fitbit. Hold on. Am I even in the right thing? All right. I'm in the right thing now. We're going to go to Fitbit, or as I call Nitwit, Get Fit. I forget what the hell it is. I even typed in Fitbit. What is it? Oh, Be Fit. I got the shakes today. I don't know why I had 2 coffees. Beef. There it is. Now, I don't even want to pick on this goofball anymore because it's getting so old. It's getting so old. Let's see what these people are talking about. Somebody named, man, I can't see because I'm blind as hell. Playground Farms has a lot of honeybee YouTubers. Is like pharmaceutical commercial pushing COVID vaccine. Ugh, man, why you gotta say that in there? Anyway, it's nothing like that. I mean, kind of like that, but let me see. We're talking about a whole different method of keeping things from getting sick and dying. It's a whole different thing, but I get your point. It was quite the mission. I said, sure, I'd do it for 500. Yeah, make them pay you. I don't know. I heard about this. Okay, I don't want to go off on tangents about people not paying their speakers, but let's go to. I remember that this channel here, Fitbit BeFit. And anyway, yeah, go watch this clown if you really want to just watch stupid ass shit. She had this goof Randy Oliver on here. And I don't really have to watch a whole lot of it, just a minute or two. Because he gets off to saying the dumbest shit ever really fast. Where even is it? Well, it's definitely not started that goofball. Did I lose? Did it get moved somewhere? I'm on the lives. Is that all the lives she has? No, there got to be more than that. Where the hell did they all go? Let's see. Maybe it's under videos. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down here. Where is it? Where? All these clickbait friggin' thumbnails are just hilarious. There's Randy Oliver. I'm not going to spend... if I don't find it, I'll have to find it some other time. Yeah, I remember her talking about, this is day 2 of asking President Trump to come in and help me, come on my show and help me save the bees. And just the weirdest ass videos. Where the hell? Was that alive? All right. I feel like, is it missing? All right. I'm gonna try this one. I don't think this is what it is.
Now, starting with that humans have actually been battling bugs for quite a bit of time, and we've been doing this.
No, that's not the one. Well, let me see. Let me scoot it up here. Go backwards. Go that way. No, definitely not that one. Let's back that up. I cannot believe I can't find it. It was right here. Something. How to apply. Talking about the weirdest, dumbest stuff. How to apply for ELAP and all this weird commercial beekeeping stuff. It's funny because last year when they went and did all the commercial stuff, went to California, there was like a big skip in content from here we are getting our 20 hives ready, and then all of a sudden they're back. There was never grading. There was nothing about actually being there, how much I got paid, none of the real stuff people want to know. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna end up, if I don't see it this time. Yeah. I don't know where it is. Mite Balm. What if I put in Randy Oliver? All right, let's see if this does it. There it is. I found it. Haha. Nice try trying to.
Later in the summer, it drops to about 50% of the mites are in the brood. So we'll let it
Let me
get up
see if I
maybe
can.
to 5 or 6 months.
So here we're just gonna quickly go over the guy that everybody thinks is some kind of fucking genius. The king of all beekeeping, I guess. I'm gonna have to bring it back here though. I was talking with someone earlier in in the comment section of another video. They were asking if I respect Randy's data or whatever. No, not at all. And this should demonstrate why he's not knowledgeable about much of anything, in my opinion.
A couple of things you just said. One, on the wax dip. We've been wax dipping for over 50 years. And I just finished up a large project, which I have not published yet. I will soon. I'll give you, let you know the results right now. We tested out with a good wax dip. We have boxes that have been out in the elements for 50 years, and we're still using them. Some of them we have re-dipped during the interim, but they just don't rot. Beeswax biodegrades too fast.
So, oh, I have it so small. I didn't realize I had it small, and I got my head so big. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. He said beeswax biodegrades so fast. Well, a quick little note. It's off topic, but the clown up in the top right is a total fucking child. Him and this girl's boyfriend or whatever were in my comment section just saying the weirdest shit. Weird childish stuff, and I didn't realize he was like a kid. He says a couple dumb things here.
So that's not a good wax to use. If beeswax did not biodegrade, you'd be up to your neck in beeswax right now. Because there's been bees for millions of years. Okay? If the beeswax did biodegrade, it would be neck deep. Okay? So that tells.
So see how they giggled up and just gobbled what this dummy said? He said if beeswax didn't biodegrade, we'd be up to our necks in beeswax. And see, people they worship this goofball, so they let that slide. Beeswax, I wouldn't say that it doesn't biodegrade, but it would take a long time. If you took a sheet of pure beeswax and you buried it, you could dig it up years later, it would still be there. Trust me, you would absolutely. I have flower pots, big garden pots in my yard that had little chunks of wax in them, that have those chunks of little melted wax have been in there for years and years, and they just get redug up. So Mr. Oliver completely forgot about the existence of wax moths and wax worms. Does wax biodegrade? Yeah, I mean, extremely slowly, but it doesn't biodegrade quickly. And also, we have wax moths, you idiot, that have no problem digesting wax, and that's why we're not up to our necks in wax, is because of wax moths, not because beeswax just biodegrades. But they'll giggle it up and just accept it because they're idiots.
Tells you whether something's biodegradable. Okay. For example, the only reason that we're not over our heads in wood is because of termites.
Now, hear how he look at his face. Look at his dumbass face when he says that. Please put your fingers on the screen and go like this so you can see Randy's face. Like he just dropped another gem of knowledge. The only reason we're not up to our necks in wood is because of termites. This is a fucking entomologist, supposedly. He thinks that without termites, we'd be just to the sky in wood. Does he not know what fungus is? Does he not know what carpenter ants are? Does he not know what woodpeckers are? I mean, I'm just off the top of my head. Does he not know what decomposers are? I mean, on and on. There's thousands of organisms that break down wood. There have to be. There's not enough termites in the world to digest and to break down all of the wood in the world. So this guy's a dummy, is what I'm saying. He's a dummy. None of his bananas graphs and truthy little goofy writings on his terrible website are worth anything. Dude thinks that wax just biodegrades, and that's why we don't have so much wax. He thinks that termites are the reason that trees aren't burying us right now. Look at his face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You see this? This is the kind of like weird authority worship that I'm talking about that beekeepers do, because generally beekeepers are well below average intelligence. If that pisses you off, then you're one of them. If you know that you're not one of them, then you should not be mad about that.
Okay. So anyway, we tested a number of different waxes and wax mixtures, and
But shouldn't one of them have said something? Hey Randy, wait a second. What do you mean? What do you mean termites are the only thing that eat wood? Other stuff eats wood. Beavers eat wood. I mean, that's just a quick little taste of just how dumb this guy is and how dumb these two beekeepers are above him that just gobble it up. But I'm going to get rid of that now because I don't really like watching that stupid channel. So then the last thing I'll do, I don't know if I should save it till later. Let me just check my phone. Let me see if I have time because I saw my phone like light up like crazy. I have a message on here. Nope, nothing important. All right. Last thing I'll do is share this Facebook post. I'm not even prepared for this, okay? I'm not prepared for this. Let me present. What I mean by prepared, like I don't have anything written down. Yeah, prepared, okay? So this is, put it on here. On Facebook in the Treatment Free group, Natalie Misseri. I'm never going to be able to say that name. Posted a really interesting post. And it's a good post. You know, we're trying to figure out, she wanted to know, the idea behind this post was, what are some of the reasons that people, and by people, you're talking about traders and just these bee teachers, people who give these beekeeping classes, why do they say treatment-free beekeeping won't work? I mean, in her own words, I'm going to try not to read all of it. Well, it's a little bit hostile. Let me skip through here. If you want to read this, you can just pause it and blow it up. But so she's talking about the hostility that we get, that treatment-free beekeepers get, and they do because we hear about it every day, like all the time in the Facebook group, in the big Facebook group. Some person went to a bee club meeting, said they'd be interested in doing natural beekeeping or whatever. And of course, all the idiots just want to pounce on that person. And I dream of those days, but they don't happen to me. But Natalie is saying, you don't need to stay quiet anymore. Don't feel you have to stay quiet anymore. We're not here to tell others how to keep their bees. But it's okay to stand proudly and confidently for treatment-free beekeeping as a valid and ethical way to keep bees. So those who share that vision can find us and the information they need, know that they're not alone, and don't feel so pressured by fear-based narratives. So that's what our whole Facebook group is about. It's not to try to tell people what to do or tell people that they're wrong or stupid. That's my job here on this channel. But for the Facebook group, it's just somewhere to just go and not hear about it, because man, you can't go anywhere in a beekeeping group and not hear about it. So let me just skip down here. Okay, so she says, let's stay mindful not to be overly defensive when countered, or pass harsh judgment, or be aggressive towards others who are keeping their bees differently. So again, I agree with that. Like, don't be aggressive towards people. But I will, meet the same energy back. I don't try to be aggressive. But if I hear someone saying, "Oh, this is what's going to happen if you don't treat your bees," and it's animal cruelty and all this stuff, yeah, I'm gonna get on them about it. No big deal. No one cares. She says we're all somewhere along the same spectrum, each doing what works best in their own context and following their own philosophy. So I don't want to read all this. Okay. With that in mind, she would like to start compiling a list of all the fallacious reasons people claim that treatment-free beekeeping doesn't work or is wrong, so we can work together to develop clear, factual counter-arguments. I mean, it's a good idea, because I know people they get stymied. They're so used to being, to having so many people against them. They freeze up. It can happen. I mean, and if you don't practice it. But for me, it's like, I don't want to practice something unless I'm correct about it. If I somehow become convinced that treating is somehow going to lead to mite tolerant or better survival stock, I would have to admit it. It sounds dumb just to say, so I know that's not happening. So she asks, so she just gives a list of some of these reasons. And I remember I read these a couple months ago. I sure was not going to copy and paste and answer everyone, because that would have been too much. That would have been too much for me. But I'm going to try that right now. I'm just going to come out and just say it with my shaky voice. I do not know why I'm shaking so much. Maybe I'm just cold. So number one, she says, so these are arguments against treatment-free beekeeping that she has heard, or the people have suggested to her. She says, we treat our dogs and cats for fleas and medicate our livestock, so it's cruelty to withhold care for our bees. And treatment-free means doing nothing and neglecting your bees. So, I mean, this one is like probably the one you hear all the time. All the time. And if you're just ignorant about biology, then it's understandable. But there's a big difference between cats and dogs and horses and chickens and bears and, well, not bears, and bees. And that is that when you keep bees, you're breeding bees, whether you like it or not. Your bees are either mating with or getting mated by all other bees around. And that's not true for any of these other animals. You can have all these other ones fixed, your cats and your dogs, and you can also control who mates with what, which you can also do with bees. You can control it, but 99.9% of beekeepers don't do instrumental mating. So you can keep dogs and cats and everything from passing on congenital defects or characteristics or traits that are detrimental to their survival. You can control that. You can control that with bees. And I would argue the opposite of what this says. To me, the word cruelty, if you're going to attach cruelty to bugs that just will die of old age, which is just a few weeks, except for in the wintertime, how is a bug just dying of old age less cruel than being, I don't know, having acid blown in your face, or being exposed to things that make the bees want to leave, that kills their queen? I mean, getting dumped in Dawn soap and shaken around. The word cruelty just is meaningless in when someone says something like that. I would argue that it's more responsible, and that a beekeeper has a duty to select the best bees. And those are bees that don't need your constant coddling. Someone who has a dog or a cat or a horse, their only responsibility is that cat or dog or horse. And it's also much more of a part of the family. It's like your child or something. If you think your bees are your children, then you're weird. You shouldn't. Don't keep bees. Yeah, you're a weirdo. And if you want to say that cats and dogs need to be treated the same as bees, well, then my cat sleeps on my bed under my neck. Does that mean my bees should sleep on my bed under my neck? See, the whole thing breaks down, and it's stupid. So all you treaters that hear this, stop saying that dumb shit because it's stupid. All right, let's go with the next one. Someone says evolution takes millions of years, and our bees have not co-evolved. I think there's a typo there. Co-evolved with mites. It's supposed to say. So first of all, again, beekeepers are ignorant. They're scientifically ignorant, biologically dumb. Most of them think the earth is thousands of years old. They don't know what millions are. But it's not entirely false to say evolution can take millions of years. Evolution can. So maybe the change from one species to another could take millions of years, but it's been proven that it's Darwin proved that also is not how long it takes. I mean, for some things it does, but selection doesn't take that long at all. Selection for survival, when there's a selector or a certain type of pressure, takes little time, a few years. Anytime something becomes resistant to something, that's a result of selection. So that's why when you talk about these certain treatments that don't work for bees, or these certain pesticides that don't work for other bugs, that is an example of selection and evolution. The bug that is around now is not the same exact bug or plant or animal that it was before. It's different. And people can see that in their own lifetime. It doesn't take millions of years. It's ignorant. Let's see, number. This one sounds like it's a little bit repetitive. Natural selection takes too long. Bees will die out before they can adapt. And it would take thousands of colonies and losing most of them to identify survivors. I mean, no, wrong. You can identify survivors at the end of every full season. A complete season is over, to me, is over in March, as they're coming out of winter. If you have 100, use a nice round number of 100 colonies. You just do regular treatment-free beekeeping. You enjoy yourself. You make sure they're queen right. You just kind of manage their space. You inspect them. You can feed if you want to. That's not a treatment. It's just depending on your situation. You might be in a place where there's not that much food available. You're just not using mite treatments. You're not using anything to fight mites at all. And the ones that make it through the season and make it through winter and all the harshness of winter. I mean, if you don't even have a winter, you just shut up. But if they're going through like a serious winter too, and then you get to see them alive in March, yeah, those are your survivors. You might want some people try to move the goalposts and say, "Oh, but you don't know how they did to survive. You don't know what they did or how they did it." I don't give a shit. I don't care. They're alive, and the other ones aren't. And through my experience, the survivors, all with the exception of 1 year of mine, always outnumber the dead ones. So it seems like a lot of these I'm just glimpsing at number 4, kind of repeat the same thing because these people really just have the same damn thing to say. It would take over dozens of years for survivors to emerge after an initial collapse. I mean, that depends how bad it is. You take somebody like Bruce's bees, as you can see, with all the knocking down he's done over all the different treatments and the just massive amounts of work and treatments and everything to try to fight these mites, and they're still burying them. Yeah, those are going to collapse real bad. If you go and go buy 100 colonies from somebody like that, or any of the stream team, buy a bunch of their trash bees and put them up somewhere and just do my kind of beekeeping with them, yeah, they're dead. They're probably dead. Whereas if you're just a hobbyist, you're able to just catch some free bees, get bees from somebody who's like-minded, hasn't been propping their bees up. It's hard to do worse. It's hard to do, even if you're getting random bees and you catch a swarm from some treater that has bees, you still have a better chance than one of these people just dumping it on like that. But again, number 4 is just another silly one. 5, oh, I love this one. 5 is I've tried treatment-free beekeeping and it didn't work for me, so it's impossible. Oh, I love that one. I hear that so much, especially on these YouTuber channels. Usually it's their first season. They tried it. They tried it with 2 colonies, 2 or 3. They died. So on top of just not treating them, on top of getting trash packages from a trashy garbage supplier, on top of that, and not treating, and also not really even knowing what the hell they're doing, they hit them hard that they lost those bees when they were still new to it. Like, imagine being so new to it and getting your feelings hurt so bad that they don't last long. Like, they'll immediately switch over to however these other people are doing it. But the funny thing I notice is, even once they switch over, if they lose the same amount of bees, they feel less bad about it, even though it's the same thing that happened. But yeah, anybody who says, oh, I tried it and it didn't work, I always say, okay, you tried it. Well, where did you get your bees from? How long have you had bees? How many colonies did you have? How long did you try it for? One season with a couple colonies that die, or even just one will die. Oh, and they'll lose it. They'll lose, if they have 2, they'll lose their mind if one of them dies. Their answers always break down their whole situation. They were never serious about it in the first place, and that's on them. I don't care. Let's see, number 6. If someone says there are no wild bees, just ferals escaped from treated apiaries that won't last more than a year or 2 in the wild. Now, there's a couple statements there. So there are no wild bees. Well, first you gotta play semantics with somebody. They'll say, oh, they're not wild, they're feral. There's no such thing as wild bees. Well, then you gotta say, well, it depends what country you're talking about. because honeybees are native to some places, so yeah, they can be wild. Even though the wild population is probably ruined by treaters, but so let's just say some fearless escaped from treating apiaries. They won't last more than a year or two in the wild. That's probably true. But the thing is, these are supposed to be examples of why you can't do treatment-free beekeeping. To me, I don't care where those bees come from. If I get a call about a swarm wherever, I don't even care. I just go get it because I love messing with bees. I love putting them in a box, see what they do. If they don't last a year or two, oh well. I mean, they're still going to build combs. They're still going to produce honey. They may die, but that's just that's what happens. If they were raised, if they were selected to be that weak and die, then they're going to. So that is true. That can be true, but that's not a reason to not do treatment-free beekeeping, especially with free bees. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing. It's impossible to lose with free bees because you're going to get something no matter what happens. Unless you just don't consider anything valuable about bees except for how much honey you can get at them over consecutive seasons. At that point, yeah, we're just not the same. So I don't know. So for number 7, no one has been able to keep bees treatment free. If you're successful, then you must have super bees, and you should inform the universities so they can research your genetics. Yeah, I remember Robin Underwood saying that the first day I ever met her, laughing about treatment-free beekeeping and saying, oh, you have magic bees, magic super bees, just laughing about it. And then years later going on to possess that bias and still do some research into what's the best method of keeping bees. It was a joke. So someone says no one has been able to keep bees. I mean, right off the bat, no. Thousands of people keep bees without treatments. So then the goalpost is whether you're successful or not. To some people, success means different things. Like to me, I've already said what success means to me, and I've been successful since I started, really. And not one season of mine would I consider unsuccessful, even when a bunch of bees died one year. That was in like 2017 is when I had a big death of colonies, but very quickly bounced back and had the best year after that. And then they say I should inform universities so they can research your genetics. But I'm not. Yeah, they do say weird shit like that, but I don't see why that would be any one person's. They should feel like obligated to be, or so have the audacity to call. Oh, here, I need to call Harvard because Harvard Law because my bees are just still alive. Like it's not even a big deal. It's so not a big deal. And it's funny that treaters do think that some bees being alive without treatments is such a shocking, like mind-blowing thing that we need to call universities. Yeah, that I have heard that one though. I get that all the time. I hear them say, "Oh well, if your bees are so great, I'm gonna need 500 queens so I can test your stuff and prove whether it's good or not." And it's like, I'm not your little. What do I look like? I'm not your little peon that's just gonna go, oh my god, this goofball commercial dickhead made a demand to me, and now I need to run around with my head cut off, raising hundreds of queens, something I don't even do. If you want them, fucking come and get them. Let's see. Someone says, man, this mouse is terrible. I'm going to get it, put some grease on it or something. We can't have productivity and gentleness with TFBs, survivor style. And again, that's stupid. I mean, using YouTube as an example, just look at all the beekeepers on YouTube, not the commercial guys. They could give a flying fuck about anything outside of money, but most of the medium level hobbyists, they're all catching swarms and catching bees and open mating their queens. There's no difference between, and I don't see them really saying, oh, this particular colony's genetics are what caused there to be not so much honey. No, it's almost always going to be because of the forage in that area, or the crowding of too many bees in one area. It's so dumb when people think, oh, certain bees don't make enough honey. Well, how the hell would they survive if they don't make honey? Yeah, that's a weird, dumb one. If I hear something like that, I know the person I'm talking to is really stupid. And as far as gentleness, that's a joke. I mean, in Pennsylvania, at least, maybe down in the South, they have some meaner bees in some parts of the South, but from a lot of the people that I see, their bees are just as nice as mine most of the year except for the fall. I mean, in Pennsylvania, I swear, over the years I've had bees, I may have had 3 or 4 or 5 total colonies that I considered mean, which probably somebody from Florida would just laugh at, or somebody from Texas would think like, yeah, that's a joke. But to me, they were really mean. And that's out of, many hundreds of colonies. 4 or 5. So yeah, no. Gentleness is not an issue. It's very easy to just kill mean ass, genetics. And as far as productivity, yeah, that's a joke. Number 9, Varroa will kill all your colonies if you don't treat. Well, yeah, obviously that's just that's the thing they all say, and that's also stupid. Easily disproven. No reason to lie about it. It just depends. It can depend on a lot of things. Where's it say? Okay. Man, there's a lot of these. I'm trying not to go too long. Number 10, we can't breed for resistance without controlling or counting mites first. Yeah, that's a contradiction right there. right in the middle of that sentence makes no sense. But I've heard this before. You need to do the counting. You need to first control it. Well, if you're controlling mites, well then you're not, first of all, you're treating, so you're not, you don't know what the hell them bees can do. It doesn't make sense. That kind of statement I'll probably just dismiss. But the whole counting mites all the time, you got grifters like James Lee always talking about how you need to count mites, and you need to do these horrible assays and all this dumb shit. You don't have to. You can if it makes you feel like some kind of really important bee authority to put on your little whatever you call it thing. I don't know, just to pretend like you're some kind of lab person. Put on your little white coat and your whatever the hell the thing is, magnifying glass, and just play around. You can do it, but I lose interest really quick with that. And why does it matter how many mites there are if it's not the mites that kills them, it's the viruses? What does the number have to do with anything? Let's see. might spread to neighboring colonies, so treatment-free beekeepers endanger everyone else. This is the mite bomb. The mite bomb theory. Might spread. Yeah, there's so many things that don't make sense at all. These mite bombing things. If that's the case, then somebody like me with most of my bees right here, how are not all my bees dead? They should all be dead. I'm sure that a few of my colonies are dead from mites. I'm sure they are. Some probably starved. They just for some reason wouldn't put on weight. But if I have these mite bombs in my yard, they should all be dead. I don't know how these supposed mite bombs like only go and kill treater bees' yards after they did a million treatments, But where are these mite bombs here? Why are they not killing my bees? Most of these I had a couple colonies, just they must have died from something, so they were getting robbed. All my bees were just robbing them out. So if anything, all my bees should be bombed. They should all be dead. They won't be. They're not even close. I think it's a joke. Of course mites travel. Of course they have to travel. So don't think I just deny that they move from colony to colony. Of course they do. But if you're supposedly treating, you shouldn't be even worried about that. I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it at all. Might spread to so someone number 12. It can't be done with everyone around you treating. So this is something that Kevin Engel likes to say. He's another total fraud in my mind. He says he told me, "Oh, I'm in New Jersey, and he's just such a chicken shit, talking about how, oh, they would string him up, and if they found out he wasn't doing treatments, or if he wanted to do treatment free and all this crap, and everybody around him treats and he can't do anything, just this big line of baloney excuses." Let me just quickly go to this comment. I wasn't on the screen, but I see there is a comment here. Someone named Brent Wells said, "I don't know how much the mite bomb theory is true. I've heard commercial beekeepers say that they would have one hive that is full of mites while others are not." I mean, yeah, I would agree with that too. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. So there's that. I mean, some are going to have high levels, some are not. But yeah, so this point of if everyone else is treating. So here's the thing. You can still do treatment-free beekeeping if everyone around you is treating, because that kind of removes their excuse. Like they really, and even Kevin, what's his name, talked about how one of his buddies has a bunch of bees, some master beekeeper, a whole bunch of colonies, and then tells this story, this tired ass fucking story about how, 1 year a bunch of his bees died, and he found out that some lady a couple blocks away is a treatment-free beekeeper with like 2 hives, and blamed his terrible winter on some lady down the street, and didn't even mention whether her colonies lived or not. It's just so tired and lame. But to me, let's just pretend I moved from here and I was in some area and I realized, holy shit, everybody around me has all these bees, like so many bees. I would love that. I wouldn't care whether they treat it or not, because I could just catch so many swarms. I would have so many free bees to do my beekeeping with. Now, maybe I wouldn't be able to produce the best line of bees where I'm at, because I might be catching a lot of really crappy bees, but at least I'll be able to do the beekeeping part. I'll have such a source of bees coming in Because believe it or not, all these treaters, they're not perfect. They let a lot of their bees swarm too. So I would have a never-ending source of bees that I could keep, produce honey, do all the beekeeping stuff with. I would have fun, but I would probably lose a bunch of those bees. They would probably, a lot of them would die. That doesn't mean that I have to take part in that whole culture of treating. It doesn't mean I have to, because even that's just gonna. There's still some gonna die, but if I know that I have that constant, like, just never-ending source of bees, just swarms everywhere, I can still keep bees treatment free. They're just probably gonna die, but that's not my fault. I'm still keeping bees. I'm still doing everything. I just wouldn't probably be able to produce a really strong genetic line of bees, but that's not everybody's responsibility. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm keeping bees without treatment, so for some reason I have to produce these special bees to where they all just live. No, you don't. Just don't contribute to weak genetics. That's all. Someone said, no commercial beekeepers do treatment-free beekeeping. Well, that's also not true. There are some. I don't really follow. I don't need commercial beekeepers to be treatment-free to validate what I do. I could give a flying crap what they do. Any of them, whether they're treatment-free or not, I just don't care. But there are some. Off the top of my head, I couldn't name them, and I don't give a shit if anybody believes it or not. I mean, everybody wants to talk about whatever the big one is, weavers, bee weavers. And I've heard their whole story, and that's cool, but I don't care. I'm not getting bees from bee weavers. There's many other that are maybe not tens of thousands of colonies, but several hundreds, and that are also treatment free. Depends what you call commercial, and they don't do treatments. So the assertion that no big timers do it is just lame. But it's irrelevant. Nothing that a commercial beekeeper does should affect what somebody who does beekeeping for at a lesser scale than commercials do. Someone says treatment-free beekeeping is not for beginners. I mean, beekeeping isn't. There's so much to learn, like, especially if you're just some goofball who never learned anything about bugs or plants or anything, and then you just decide, oh, I want to keep bees because it's like trendy and I want to save the bees, or you see someone else doing it and you think it's cool and you want to do it. There's so much to learn. Like, there's so much. So to say it's not for beginners, I mean, as long as you understand what it's about, what the goal is, it's way easier. The beekeeping part is the hard part. Like, just the equipment, the little dumb shit we take for granted. I see all the mistakes people make on their little beekeeping posts, like things that we just automatically know. We can look at it right away and say, oh, your frames are spaced too far apart, or that doesn't go that way, or that's not the way that that goes. Your queens don't do this and work. You can't do that. Things that we just take for granted. It takes a couple of years to get past that. And if you can remove all the stupid mite washes and testing and treating and then rewashing it, that shit's not for beginners. I mean, it's much easier to teach a beginner to catch swarms and then just manage space and queen rightness. That's fucking easy stuff to learn. All that other shit, yeah, okay. 15, if you don't have data to prove you're successfully keeping bees, I don't believe you. Yeah, so that would be something that the absolute charlatan James Lee would say. And this depends on if you really care to prove anything to anybody. if someone argues with me about treatment-free beekeeping, they're not really arguing with me personally. They're arguing with Charles Darwin. And that's and you're arguing with like really, really basic concepts. You're really just I would hate to. I couldn't even pretend to argue against selection or the biology, evolutionary biology. How do you argue against that? You have to almost wipe your brain. You have to like wipe it empty. Doesn't make sense. I couldn't do it. I don't pity somebody trying to argue. Brent says he wonders if mite bomb is more of a symptom of a sick colony. I don't even know. Sick colony to me, if I don't catch it first, they're getting robbed like right away. That's how I know. And I don't stop it. Let me see. 16. Organic acids do not harm bees and do not leave any residue. So I wouldn't care. I don't care. Or like somebody used to tell me, oh, well, a vapor oxalic acid is so cheap. Like you get a big bag for a couple bucks and it lasts for all this time. I don't care. I don't care how much it is. You can give me 10 vaporizers for free. I don't even care. Give me a lifetime supply of any treatment. I don't care. I wouldn't even give it away. I would make sure it gets thrown away. I don't care. I wouldn't use it. And the reasons that I do treatment-free beekeeping isn't even because of that. Because that shit's going to get into hives anyway. It's just, there's junk out there. Bees are gonna suck up some soda that somebody pissed on, or that dripped over a drippy oil, an oil leak from a car. In some places at least, they're gonna get some nectar from plants that had some crap on them. Shit's still gonna get in your hives. That's not why I don't want to propagate weak bees, unfit bees. 17 says it can't be done in areas where others treat. So that's more like, that's very similar to the one up here. The one where if everyone's treating around you. So I already addressed that. Let's quickly just look at if there's any comments. If there's any that are any good. Let's see. So there's not too many comments. Is that it? Is that all the comments? Oh no, there's 153 comments. It's only showing a couple. Oh, what the heck happened there? All right, let's see. All comments. Oh, I see. I was supposed to hit view more comments. Yeah, there was a lot of really good people that explaining their answers probably better than me, even better than me. I'm not even that good. But yeah, if you want to check that out, go to the Treatment-Free Beekeepers group on Facebook. You can become a member if you want to. If you act up, I'm going to boot your ass out, so don't do that. And that's going to be it for today. I think I covered everything I want to. Anybody who hung out, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment. Leave me something to get mad about and something to crash out about. And I'll see you next time.